All right. Thank you all so much for first joining the webinar. I know some of you are like joining from India, and then we've got US folks waking up early in the morning and joining around the globe. We've got people here supporting the webinar series. So to set some context, how we've been making noise around grace and how women empowerment should be enabled with AI, and how about only 34% of women are getting chance in the STEM area with respect to career growth and all that. So considering everything that's happening, we thought, we can promote it and make some noise around it and ensure we get more people talking about it. Having said that, welcome to DevRev's first Women in AI webinar series. So over the course of this series, we are going to be spotlighting women who've created like proper dents in the field of technology and data. In the first installment, we thought, why not we call out the superwomen and the DevRev's AI and data teams. They will be talking to you about the personal journeys that led them into the respective fields. There'll be insights from their experiences, and then they'll also be sharing advice as to what does it take for a woman to, plan a career in AI, or if you're already there, how to kind of move forward and ensure that, the growth is happening. So before we get into the session, let me just give you a quick gist of how the event is going to go. We'll have the entire session for 45 minutes give and take like 5 minutes, but we will try to keep it within the boundary that we've set. And then towards the end, we are going to be having the Q&A session. That's going to be about for 15 minutes. So any questions that you folks have, please hold it towards the end. You can put it on the chat and we can call out and we can have the respective speakers give their views on it. And, finally, I'll just do the final intros and outros. And, if you guys have to like reach out to me on anything, I will share an email address. We can get the conversation rolling. Having said that, we can get into it, and I will give you a quick intro of, who's going to be the speakers. Of course, Shruti, Harita, and Anupama need no external intros, but then I'm just going to do it. And so, yeah, Shruti is part of the engineering team, and she leads the growth app. We've got Harita, who's the data product manager, and then we've got Anupama, who's the lead engineer for commerce. So yeah, I mean, we can get started, and thank you so much, guys, for again joining. We would love to start off with their stories. So I am gonna ask Shruti. So tell me, we'd love to know more about your story, like how you first got introduced to the field of AI and data, and what fascinates you in this area, and what your professional journey has been.
Wow. Okay. So I think if I actually look back, maybe my first interaction or encounter was with AI was long before I think AI was a word. In undergrad, one of our teachers put us in touch with an internship for an internship at IISc, and she said, "What are you guys doing? If you're doing nothing in summer, why don't you go there?" So this was with the electrical department in Indian Institute of Sciences. They were working on a bunch of projects for differently abled children funded by the government. So it had a device which wanted to support input in Indic languages. So back then, Google Indic keyboards was not a thing. So we literally designed every key, painted every Kannada, Telugu, Tamil letter, like superimposed it on the QWERTY keyboard, did some ASCII conversion. We did the first natural language processing, OCR conversion, so that you could take millions of books, convert it into Braille. We built the whole software for the machine. So there were like 7 projects. We were 14 kids back then, and we did a lot of this, right? And now natural language processing is a very it's a just a separate domain in the whole realm of AI. So I think that was my earliest interaction. And I think when we actually saw all of this being used by children and how it made their life easier, I think that was very, very, it was very fulfilling, right? And we just went there for like 15 days, but we continued working with them for the next 1.5, 2 years until we graduated. So that was my earliest interaction, I should say, with like data and AI. But over the years, and of course, in the last couple of years, it's become a buzzword. Okay.
Sorry, go on, Shruti.
I think it's become a buzzword. And at DevRev, it's amazing to see how we are trying to just use it's not like just trying to use AI, right? We are thinking about, okay, already our platform supports AI first thinking. And based on that, what are the different use cases? We have our build app and grow app, and some grow app is something that I'm closely been working on in the last 6 months. And I'll delve deep down further, but it it's just like, how do we bring everything together? How does, for me, if I have to explain what is AI to a first year student, it would be, you have the past, you have the present, you have all the data. What is the max intelligence you can get from this to make anything in the present and future easier, right? Just automating some things which are mundane and giving you intelligent insights into something that you don't have to spend time on. So yeah, I think that's a bit about how my first foray into AI and analytics happened. And yes, I can go further in later questions.
Thank you so much for sharing this. Harita, do you want to go next and give us insights into?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Shruti. That's very insightful and slightly similar, but again, not slightly different. But I am an engineer by training. I got my first master's in electrical engineering and power systems. So a lot of work in my graduate degree was, trying to solve optimization problems for power grids. So that is where like my first foray into ML and data technically started. And then in my professional career, I started out as a data scientist solving decision sciences problems for Fortune 100 clients. And then I switched to product management, started working at, as a product manager at multiple AI startups. Again, even before AI was a cool thing. Started working at a computer vision and AI startup as my first stint in product management, and then moved on to work at multiple other B2B SaaS AI companies, and then also worked at the Wall Street Journal as a product manager for their personalization and AI team. And I'm currently the data product manager at DevRev. And since my background and expertise lies in data and ML, trying to leverage my past, present, and experiences and expertise to kind of bring the data platform and the data products to life at DevRev. And my passion lies in building and designing, really good information intensive products that people can benefit from. And of course, AI is baked into how we build those things and design for those things. And and I hold 2 graduate degrees because we're talking about women in STEM. One in electrical engineering, and the latest one being in information management and systems from UC Berkeley. So yeah, that's my background. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Harita. Anu, do you want to go next and share your line?
Yeah, sure. And very exciting stories, Shruti and Harita. My story is a little different. I would say I long jumped into analytics and AI compared to what I was doing prior to DevRev, right? I was in systems whole my life, and being in systems engineering, I mostly worked on routers, switches that powers the data centers. This work was very, very low level. Many a times it's like OS, kernel level, networking, ASICs, protocols, and whatnot. And there are times where I have programmed even in assembly languages to get the CPU started, right? So all along, I felt that many developers like me are disconnected from the business side of the product or had minimal understanding of the customers or the customer ask. So being engineers, some of us actually made some conscious efforts to understand the business side, but it was mostly over the coffee breaks or walks that we would take. So when DevRev happened, actually DevRev's vision of connecting back office to front office resonated the most with me. But little did I know that it will be done in the context of an AI or with the help of an AI or with the AI first thinking. So I was excited about this single app, which can provide you with the knowledge of the customers or the businesses, simply with reference to the bugs that you fix or the code that you write, right? And it was very thrilling for me, and it's all possible within a single app. Was very exciting. So essentially, my passion of learning pushed me to join DevRev. So my first project at DevRev was to gather these service health indicators from customers' SaaS infrastructures and ingest them into DevRev for giving insights into customers' product deployment health. So I figured out how to collect the data, but the hard part was how to ingest the data, how to post-process this data in DevRev. There were several challenges, such as what would be the format of the data, what are the best mechanisms to ingest these data at scale with minimal latency, designing frameworks for post-processing ingested data, surfacing all of this in the app. So, and data validation and whatnot, right? Like, so while I was figuring out this design, my paths actually crossed with commerce team, which was in need of similar ingestion pipeline for their product usage, for getting the customer's product usage for billing and invoicing. So we essentially collaborated, designed, implemented this foundational framework which powers today's commerce and analytics at DevRev. Uh, Moving forward, just collecting data and reporting it was not enough, but leveraging this data to answer mundane questions, right? Like how, give me a list of outstanding invoices, or who are my high value customers, right? What can I upsell? What can I cross sell to my customers? All of these needed to be answered. And this is where AI played a pivotal role, right? Like we have the data, but how do we consume this data? So basically, the magic of our AI infrastructure integrated with data helps us answer all these questions. It gives suggestions, searches, and other capabilities. So of course, none of this happened overnight, took several iterations, and we actually repeatedly went back and forth until we had all of this figured out, right? So this is pretty much how I got involved with AI and analytics. My journey essentially started with the data, and I'm still with data. So that's how it is.
Thank you so much, Anupama. Like some of the things you told, networking and everything, it's so empowering to listen to all those. And, we hope to create all those learnings and fast forward it as well. So, yeah, I mean, okay, given that we spoke about, your personal career and how it all went out, we are curious to know what does your typical day at work look like? Like, give us a view of, how it starts, like, paint us the whole picture. So, Harita, probably do you want to start with that?
Yeah, sure. I can go first. My typical day, because we're a distributed team, I try to start early, and make sure that I'm connected to the India team. And yeah, so as a data product manager, my job function involves two main things. One is to get the data platform, which kind of powers all the different use cases, that, let's say, Shruti was talking about, or, Anu was talking about. One side of it is that, and the other side is also building the data products, which refers to, let's say, the dashboards and reports and widgets and whatnot, right? So, twofold. So the platform side of work begins with going to DevRev and understanding what the customer requests are in terms of what is coming up. And we build DevRev on DevRev. So I go and check, if there are bugs filed, if, we have to get the team together to understand how to best keep the platform, but also scale the platform as we bring on, bigger customers. So that is one side. And then on the data product side, I feel like that is, again, a very exciting part of my day where, I get to craft amazing data stories with customers where we ask them, hey, what is the story that you're trying to tell, right? So from there, we work backwards and we say, okay, this metric might make sense. And for this metric, this visualization will be really powerful. And then we go and build it out, right? So again, that involves checking tickets, prioritizing the requirements, prioritizing the product roadmap to ensure that the customer needs are met, and also trying to find out what our differentiators are in terms of specific AI related stuff that we do. So maybe I'll throw in a teaser, but we are doing quite a bit of data and AI intersection work, which you will see very soon. But yeah, that is my typical day.
Thank you so much, Harita. Shruti, do you want to go next and listen with it?
Yeah, sure. So actually, there's one thing that I definitely love to say. My typical day has changed every day and over time. When I first started my career at VMware, my typical day was pretty much just taking care of myself because everything at home would be taken care by mom. But only when I moved to the US for masters and I started working here, I really took inspiration from other women at my earlier jobs like Nutanix or another startup and at DevRev, and I see how they multitask. It's actually not multitask, but how do they plan and chunk out their day, and I've learned a lot along the way. So as Harita said, we are a very geographically distributed team. So I start off with morning meetings to just get time with folks in other geographies, then try to make some time, cook, get breakfast, all of that, then go to office. I just love how going to office has become a thing again. Love whiteboarding, discussing in office. And currently what I've been working on, the Grow app, it's my first time I'm trying where I get an opportunity to interact a lot with the front office functions, the entire sales and marketing, and going back to them as an engineer and saying, this is our entire knowledge graph, this is our entire Grow app. We have all the critical objects for a GTM journey in our DevRev's Grow app, that is accounts, objects, opportunities, and all the activity. And how can we leverage this big knowledge graph and provide insights for everybody part of this crucial GTM journey? So it involves a lot of understanding, a lot of explanation, a lot of whiteboarding, and there's a lot of empathy and exchange in all of these interactions. And again, a lot of engineering, not just from the system side, but the data, the pipeline, talking to product managers, figuring out how do we design this insight? How do we design this dashboard? How can we run a quarterly business review with our Grow app? How can we run a marketing business review with our Grow app? And so, yeah, so that is the end of in-person and office day, but then just get some break, squeeze in a workout or something in the evening, again, which I've learned from people who do it very, very effortlessly. Get back home, get a good dinner, get back to, again, interactions with India team. And many people have asked me, working in a startup in the last how many ever years, 5+6 years, don't you crave that you miss a 9 to 5 job? Honestly, I think I enjoy this because a day is never idle and you can always chunk and make time for a lot of things that you want to do, be it hobbies, be it your health, taking time for self-care, but just having your brain engaged always and getting the opportunity to talk to people across different domains and geographies, I think is something which keeps like your mind and heart very alive in a day. And yeah, that's what I love about, love doing.
Thank you, Shruti. I mean, squeezing in the workout and all that, it's great that we've got leaders in our team who do it and they are setting the standards there. So thank you so much for saying that. Anu, do you want to go next? Being a mom and like balancing work, and what does a typical day look like?
Yeah. I think I agree with Shruti on so many fronts, right? It's so exciting to work at a startup. There are so many unknowns on a daily basis, right? It's never comforting to know, hey, we know the solution, we know the problem, and it's done, right? Like there's always every day brings some new challenge, and it is super exciting. And knowing that in solving this challenge, you're not alone is also a very comforting fact, right? Like there are people who you can bank on. There are people who you collaborate with, product managers, marketing, sales, from various different segments, right? Even engineering, even from your co-workers who are there. And at times I have felt it even from customers. Listening to customers, learning from them is something that really, really help. So typical day for me, I would just put in a mix of into the mix my two kids with whom my day starts very early in the morning. Post this, I would sync up with teams, with internal, external, try to understand what are the blockers, if there are any blockers, iron those out, have some design discussions, and just ensure that the things are going well. And if there are any impediments, identify those and try to iron those out. Other than this, I do try to spend 25% of my day on actively coding, trying to get some stuff out so that the wheel is rolling over there. So yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. So.
Thank you, Anu. I think so. When you talk about coding and, bringing the wheel running and all that, so how do you bring the AI first thinking, when you get started with that? Could you just tell us more about that?
Yeah, so given that we are DevRev.ai, foundationally all things that we build are essentially connected to our AI infrastructure. So we have several capabilities like searches, suggestions, clusterings, machine learning, etc. Right? So for example, you go to DevRev app, use a spacebar, give a simple query in natural language, and you would be able to search things across tickets, issues, knowledge bases, and get the answers at the tip of the finger, right? So in addition to the AI, analytics is also like a table stakes for us, right? I have spoken about this earlier that my journey started with data, but data was essentially was used for gaining insights, doing analytics, doing simple queries on top of this data so that you get mean actionable insights out of this, right? And we would leverage AI in all these forms. So anytime we are building any feature, be it commerce or be it anything else, we first think like the data that we collect, or how would that be consumed by our AI infrastructure, right? What are the use cases we will solve using the feature that we are building, right? So in our design discussions also, figuring out those use cases which will be AI powered has become a norm, and we begin with that. So doing all of these typically helps us ensure that the data that we are building or the features that we are building are ready for AI consumption. They are ready for analytics consumptions with minimal effort, right? Which is being there.
Got it. Thank you so much, Anu. So, Shruti, with you heading the growth app and everything, so tell us, like, how are you bringing the AI first thinking into that?
Yeah, AI first thinking is a term I think I now understand more than much earlier. Because I think from the day we've joined DevRev, it's kind of been there. Like AI first has always been there, and now I'm getting to understand more about, oh, this is what AI first thinking is versus AI as an afterthought. And what do I mean when I say this, right? I already, just in my previous interaction, I said, like, we have a big knowledge graph, and how do we pull insights from this, right? Many platforms which are not AI first thinking kind of lack this feature because they're trying to bring in data which sits in silos, and there's this whole problem of how do you bring in data from multiple sources into one particular place? How do you draw insights, combined insights? So when at DevRev, when we said we run on AI first thinking, and our platform is this for growth, especially the use cases that we already have in place, and the where I can see that we are making a lot of difference. The first one to start off is with we're able to get like deep customer insights and achieve hyper personalization. So because we have everything that happens with a customer, every interaction, every feedback right in the app, how can we hyper personalize marketing campaigns? How can we hyper personalize the next outreach we do to them? So that is one. The other thing that I really think that we're getting a good advantage from is predictive analysis and being proactive in strategizing. So if in the past somebody has attended an event and we saw that their response rate to certain set of campaigns is better than if we have somebody else attending an event now, how can we proactively nurture based on a pattern? So helping us proactively strategize in the GTM journey has been very, very useful. And again, on the sales side, we are able to really make change just sales enablement to intelligent sales enablement. Again, just as we no longer have just like cold calls before we get into a call. We already have a lot of information from a particular customer, from their journey, from our interactions or anything. What are they looking for? What can we pitch to them? So I think just changing and adding intelligence before the sales enablement process starts off is again a huge, huge win when it's an AI first platform. And what else? I think of course, insights, hyper-personalization, being proactive in strategizing, and also just being able to see trends, right? When you have all your data and when you have trends for the last quarter, the last year, how can we set targets for the next year? How can we say, where is our ROI better? Do we invest more in a particular kind of digital campaign, a channel, or do we invest more in a different kind of a campaign? So when we can do all of this in a single platform, when we can stitch all these pieces together, when we can draw insights and strategize going forward, I think that is where I see a huge win. And I can confidently say that our GTM is using this. We are building our Grow app to adapt for GTM use cases. And as we go, we are seeing a lot more efficiency and utilization versus the mundane way of using different CRMs, different tools, everything disconnected, and then you go and work off Excel sheets or manual handoffs. When everything is in one place, we see a lot of seamless data transition and insights transition from one function to another function in the funnel. So I think that is what is the biggest advantage of having an AI first thinking from the growth perspective.
Thank you, Shruti. So I think while we're in the conversation about, how we bringing AI first thinking, technology is something that keeps changing every day. What's happening today, it's not happening tomorrow. So I think probably Harita, could you tell us how do you keep yourself updated with, the latest development? Because being a data shiro, you should have to consider so many things in parallel. So what are some of the online resources, communities that you follow, or experts that kind of, bring in the leeway for this?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, I feel like mine is a combination of a slightly more technical product role and also having to stay up to date with the product side of the product management for data products. And on the other side, there is the whole data analytics and visualization discipline that I have to, constantly, keep myself up to date on, because everything is changing as we speak. There is AI, helping people democratize analytics, helping people democratize data visualization, and pick things up much faster than before. So a lot of hypotheses that we began this discipline with are kind of being tested, being put to test, and few things are being proved, few things are being falsified. So that itself is a great journey. And for me personally, I try to stay up to date on the technical side as much as I can. We have a fantastic data team here. A big shout out to my amazing team. And we have tech leads who have been in this field for almost more than a decade. So just talking to them is for me like a crash course in, data engineering or data pipelines and whatnot. So that is one main source for me. And also having, a constant set of things that I can refer to and I keep going back to, especially if there are some things that are up and coming in the technical side that I want to learn a little bit more about. I kind of use that as a starting point, try to understand. Most of the times if I don't understand, I go back to the team and I'll be like, hey, I'll bug them a little bit and be like, hey, can you explain what this thing is, but exactly. And then of course I refer to a lot of articles online or content online. And I like listening to podcasts, so I listen to a lot of podcasts just on my commute. So those are a few things that I do. And I'm also part of a couple of communities that I have been part of for a really long time, like Women in Data and Women in Product. I've been a part of Women in Data, I think, for more than a decade now, and Women in Product for over 7 years. And those are communities that are very, very nurturing, and they're also extremely giving in terms of, knowledge sharing and just, helping people have a level playing field. So I kind of resort to those communities. And also, I think similarly, the data visualization space is also a really great community. If anybody is just interested in building data stories, not just for like work, right? But just generally, journalism, data journalism is a very big thing. So thankfully, my experiences and people I've interacted with have always been very kind to me. So I just try to hold on to them as much as possible. And then that circle just keeps expanding and just capitalizing on people's knowledge as much as I can and absorbing it. I think that is something I do.
Thank you, Harita. So, Anu, do you like want to share the communities that you visit, or how do you keep yourself updated with the changing AI technology?
I would say I go to AI to learn more about AI. So I do heavily leverage ChatGPT, Bard, all these kinds of systems. I would say that the field of AI sounds pretty intimidating with LLMs, embeddings, LangChains, vector databases, all of these. I would say just peel the onion. I typically try to follow short YouTube videos which can clarify the basics. Sometimes subscribe to articles like on Medium and TechCrunch. People actually do try to drill down and give you some basic insights into all of these things. So, and other things, among other things, I do read code. I do read code written by my coworkers, written by somebody else, open source projects which are out there, who that gives a better insight to what we are doing. Uh, at times we do participate in hackathons. Hackathons gives you a very good way of like putting what you're doing on a side burner and try to explore something new, right? So hackathons is a great way to learn. So it's a constant learning process. What I've learned over years is like my from my kids as well, right? Like my daughter, she takes like a classical training, and her teachers always say, "Hey, watch more dances, listen to more music," right? So observe. So observing, learning from others is something that is 50% of your learning curve, right? Like learning journey. So I would say the same thing applies, and I also try to follow the same thing. That just observe, talk to more people, network with a lot more folks, and see what you can get from each of them, even from junior, from seniors, from experts. You would learn something new every day.
Thank you so much, Anu. BT, you've raised your hand. Like, do you have a question or over to
Absolutely.
you?
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I wanted to also bring the point that, there's going to be a lot of AI companies, and there are a lot of AI companies getting born every day. I think on both sides of whether you're an investor, even finding out like, how do you invest, what's going to be successful, or if you are going to build something, or even if you're going to consume AI, there's just so much out there. So how do you sift through the noise? I'd love to kind of hear from you guys on both sides. One side of building AI, what are some of the core capabilities to watch out for that would make, all these different pieces come together and to really deliver an experience that's going to improve lives? It's going to improve quality of life, I think, generally at a larger scale, if I think about AI. So maybe the first question is just the core capabilities. You talked about data, there's data engineering, there's pipelines, there's ML ops. Maybe if you can just highlight like what are like the 3 to 5 or just the core capabilities to look out for if someone that's building AI, how do you build really great AI? And then the other question is if I'm going to consume AI and if there is a particular use case or a problem I'm trying to solve, there's just so much out there. So what's the best way and how do you kind of sift through that? Any learnings that you guys have that you can share?
Sure. Anu, do you want to go?
Yeah, I think in terms of core capabilities, if I look at the way DevRev has built its AI infrastructure, we do offer core capabilities like searches, suggestions, clustering to find out the similarities and whatnot. And all of this is based on fundamental concepts of AI and ML. So in typically, I'm a big believer of building frameworks, right? Like anything that we do should evolve in the form of a framework which is consumable for n different things, right? Everyone doesn't have to reinvent the same wheel. So I would say delve into figuring out first, hey, what are the pain points, right? What are your mundane things that you do? what are those pain points and how can AI can help you solve those problems. So if it's some simple things like, hey, I'm looking for a ticket, or I'm looking for an issue, or I'm looking for an article which would give me this insight, how can I find out that article, right? What are the similarity points? How do I draw from other people's experiences? So if I take this use case, I would see that I'm looking for a similarity search, right? So then from an AI perspective, I would try to leverage or a build, which is a semantic search type of a component. So things like this would come in and help, and will help you build the effective pipeline of the AI itself. Where would I go in terms of learning about some of these things? Like I already said, there are several resources. DevRev itself is also putting out so many blog contents in terms of our learnings, what we have done, what approaches we explored in the past, how our AI infrastructure has evolved from syntactic search to semantic search to suggestions to clustering to AI being integrated itself. Some of these things would definitely help add to this knowledge.
Thank you so much, Anu, and thanks, Vidi, for asking the question. So now that we've almost come to the conclusion side of it, I just want to ask around the room. So, Harita, I just want to understand, like, we are seeing improvements in diversity in tech, but there is a long way to go. Like, what advice do you have for women who are like planning to have a career in tech, or they're already there, but they want to grow professionally? Is there anything that you wish you had known when you started out, and would you like to share some learnings on that?
Yeah, sure. So I think I'm just going to repeat most of what my mentors have taught me. So if anybody is listening, don't mind me. But I think one of the things that I do want to, kind of re-emphasize is that a lot of it is a lot easier than we think. And we are a lot tougher than we think. So I think that is something that I constantly keep reminding myself, that especially in this world of like AI and like Anu pointed out, right? It might sound intimidating, but if you break it down, it's actually an algorithm, right? And that algorithm has a very specific, by definition, it has a specific set of steps. It has a specific set of, it's a process at the end of the day, right? So if we understand that, I think everything else is just an abstraction on top of it. So for me, that is something that I keep telling myself. And another thing that I would say is identifying, it's going to be a mouthful, but we'll probably leave it in the notes, but identifying mentors, champions, allies, hype squad, friends, and understanding the differences between these, and also giving people that opportunity to be those things for us, I think has been very, very beneficial for me. And again, like I can name names even within, DevRev, who have already become those things for me, right? Like for me, a mentor is my manager, Michael, who, tries to empower me in everything that I do. And I have champions like, Molly, who is not from my team, who's not my manager, but at the same time is like a cross-functional leader who helps, and BT. And also I have my hype squad. Like people are on this call, a few of them are from my hype squad. And also we have people from my grad school who have joined in. So these are all things that matter. And I think just identifying who's that person for you at what point in time, I think is great. And it's a give and take. So the more you give, the more you receive, I think.
Thank you so much, Harita. I think a great point about, the hype squad and having these work vibes. It kind of puts things into perspective. We've got folks who are constantly going to be cheering us. Thanks for that. So Anu, do you also like want to share thoughts on things that you wish you had known, and what are the changes that you think should come up with women in AI?
Things which I would have known. I wish I had started my journey with AI long back. Sometimes I feel, because seeing an evolution over time is also a great thing. But I don't have regrets. I come from systems background, and I do understand both systems as application level and beyond that, which is AI now. How do I keep up myself engaged? Again, engaging with, for me, networking is the basic fundamental thing that has always helped. So, like Harita said, find those right set of people, right set of folks who will help you, mentor you, guide you in the right directions. I think just find just find that one mentor who will take you in the right direction and guide you through. So other than that, I think that's about it for me. Like so.
Cool, Anu. Shruti, how about you?
For me, I think most of what I am at my workplace or career comes from the kind of environment or interactions I basically had with my parents and my sister. So I'm the only one in the house who can just like talk very, very openly and even oppose whatever my dad thinks, right? Because he said everybody should have a voice and it's okay to speak up. And I think having had that kind of an environment, I would say uh, every girl should be more confident of what our capabilities are. And it's okay to advocate for yourself, right? Yes, we all need champions, we all need mentors, but at the same time, everybody has 100 things in their own life to take care of. So if you ask for help, it comes. But at the same time, you should be in a position every time to say, I know this is my capability. I know I can do this, or I don't know how to do this, but I still want to take it up, right? Always put yourself up for challenges, own things, take up things, say you don't know, but you want to do it. And it is totally okay. Um, and definitely be in an environment where other people see that you have a voice, and that gives confidence for everybody else to come out and be more vulnerable, be more open, listen more, help more. Because I've seen the most I've benefited is from really being able to talk to anybody, right? Be it a professor, be it a friend, be it a colleague, be it a senior or director. Just be like, take off the formal equation and just be like, everybody you interact or you come across in this whole world, right? For a second, if you have with somebody, it's because of its destiny, and the only way to make the best use of it is just bring your authentic self to that person, and you will see how much the equation changes. And you that reciprocates back to you, because just as Anu said, we haven't been in the realm of AI for long. But when we are in DevRev.ai, an AI first company, and the founders took a leap in bringing so many people from so many diverse backgrounds, right? Like systems and maybe product, but some people have experience in AI, some don't have in AI. But if all of us are able to actually now build this platform, it's only because we are fostering a culture where we are able to say that all of us want to do it and we need help to build it together. So bring in that openness, bring in that frank culture, and be open to sharing, learning. It's okay to not be the best in the first version, but just build together, right? And everybody support, and you can grow together in the process. And that has always worked. It's okay to rant. It's okay to have your low days. It's okay to feel that this is completely intimidating, but just talk through it. And half an hour chat, half an hour walk, you will get out of it feeling that, oh, I at least know what I need to do now. So I think that's been my biggest learning. And that's what I would tell everybody I work with, fresh grads, when they come up and they're like, they're so shy and everything. I'm like, it's okay to just say you don't know. Let's just sit and pair program. Let's just sit and even watch a YouTube video together. And that helps, right? So just do things together when it gets tough. And when you're out of the interaction, you got it. So that's my biggest takeaway.
Thank you so much, Shruti. I think it comes in parallel with, the initiative that DevRev was also doing with respect to empowering women in AI tech and ensuring that, we pass it forward. So I'm pretty sure, the folks who are in this call are aware of the Grace initiative, which we've already, taken into control. We did a very nice launch at Effortless, which was a huge success yesterday, by the way. I put down the link in the chat. So if anybody hasn't had the time to go and check it out, please go do that. And we also are building a very vibrant community where we want to continue keep having these conversations, like invite more folks. So if either of you have any, sheroes that you would think that they'll make a great impact in having these calls with us, would be happy to get in touch with them. You can slap me or you can find me on Akshay Sheshadri on LinkedIn. But otherwise, I think this has been such a great start to the series that we've started. And I hope that, we all took so many learnings from this and kind of pass it on to the other folks who couldn't join us. But there's also going to be a blog, because all the speakers here had so much information, and I understand that it could have been a bit overwhelming to consume it all. So we're just going to be putting it down in a blog, and we'll be sending it across on your email address as well. Follow DevRev on LinkedIn to get more updates on the next webinar series and all that. But thank you so much, folks from India who joined, even though it's super late in the night, and folks from the other side of the world, you had a work day in place, but then you still made it here to support all of us here. So thank you all for being here, and hopefully we catch up soon in the next session. See ya.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.